Hello there. Here we are with issue 40. So let's do a quick preview of this and let's get going. So we're going to talk about the modified Bulb 22 Solus 1. It must be a droid fighter, maybe? I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, this is the one that Grievous flies. Okay. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about the wildlife of Utapau. And this is the planet that Obi-Wan faced down Grievous. So those two are connected, yeah. So we'll talk about the wildlife there. And we're going to get into some combat techniques number 2 for dogfighting and the secrets of spaceflight, so that might be interesting. And here we are, our next parts. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Let's see what we got. All right, so as I mentioned before, I've already got these parts, and if you're curious, I've already put them together here. So I think I've mentioned this before. I plan on putting a little bit of putty right on that seam, maybe a little bit of putty around these edges, sand it, smooth it all out, because I don't think there should be a seam there, because there's a seam here by design. This one shouldn't be a seam. So I'll clean all that up so it looks like it's supposed to be, and we'll go from there. And if you recall, I had blackened this out. I don't know why. It wasn't necessary. Partially because when you put the floor in, that way it's all black through here. I wanted to kind of hide that. This will actually need to be primed, so me gluing this together and not priming that, and it doesn't even have to be primed because I'm not really going to paint it. I may just leave it that color. Because you'll see some of it, like if you're looking in this way or whatever, but we'll play around with it and see how I'm going to handle that. I may have to use some uh, bottled paint primer and prime it and paint it by hand, which that will be interesting. Or I could always spray it and then just tape this off and re-black this if I need to. What have you, we'll figure it out. So that will come up at another time. So here we have our plates, and of course we got the glass pieces, which I'm not going to put those in, mostly because first of all, the glass pieces are not very good. Maybe I'll grab them and show them to you here in a moment. They're not very good, and so as a result, I don't want to put those in. But we got some screws, so we'll set those off to the side. We got some of these pieces, so those will be handy. Set those to the side. Got a bunch of black screws, which we got a bunch already, but we'll be needing those. We got some more silver screws, which that'll be good. And we have our first set of parts for the gun turret seat. So this is going to be the controls for the gun turret. And we're going to have 2 sets of these, and so we'll be putting these together. Some of these parts are quite small and look to be rather fragile, so that should be fun putting that together. We'll see what we can do to spruce it up and make it look good and all that kind of fun stuff. So we'll need to blacken this out as well, so that will happen. Let's take a look, see what we're going to be doing here. And we are going to be putting this onto the framework. So we're going to finish up the entire framework of the bottom. So when we get done, it'll be all one piece. So let's go ahead and get prepped for that and make that happen. And when I come back, we'll get that put together. See you in a few. Okay, we are back. So as you can see, this is not the part we want to put in. It's on the other side, but because and this is orientated the way that it should. The back is here, front is over here. You can see, if we come this way a little bit, you can see this part here. These are attachment points for the mandibles. So I have it orientated correctly. However, we'd have to be working on that side, and so I don't want to have to shift stuff around just so I can work on it. So I'm just going to turn the whole thing around. There we go. All right, so here we are. We can set this down in here, and there we go. Now we have it more or less in place. Let's go ahead and get some screws. Yeah, we don't have any pieces that have to go in here as far as ribs go or anything like that, so we don't have to worry about that, but we are going to have these 3 pieces here that we'll have to put in. Just going to get the book opened up just to make sure I don't miss anything. Yeah, so it has you attaching these parts here first. So let's go ahead and get our screw and driver out. Let's get these things opened up. So this will probably be a pretty short video. This may set a record. However, I do have something that I plan on kind of adding to the end of this to kind of give it some decent length, I think. So let's go ahead and get these put on here. All right, so we'll get these started outside of this space. Oh, come on. There we go. Snug these up. We'll tighten them after we get the other screws on the other side put in. That way we can kind of turn them as we need them. Okay. All right, let's set this back in here, and this kind of goes down like that. All right, so that holds everything up. Let's go ahead and start getting our screws in place. And while we're at it, let's speed things along. So wouldn't you know it, the very last screw is having issues going in. So isn't that the way it usually goes, right? I don't know a good way to help having that in the road. I need a good way to apply pressure forward. There we go. I just had to loosen up a bunch of screws. Now we can tighten them all down. Alright, there we go. We have all the screws in. Technically, that's everything that we needed to do for this issue. I would have showed you those the glass pieces or the shield window pieces, but they're in the other container, and I didn't want to take the time to dig them out, but I will show you them coming up sometime soon. So that completes everything with this issue. However, I'm going to add up the videos of all of the rest of the um, plating pieces that I've blackened out. So I will add those here, and I will even include this one getting blackened out. So I'll have to get this masked real quick and painted. So you'll be able to see that right here. All right, let's get this thing masked up. All right, let's go paint this bad boy. All right, so I don't know what kind of opportunities we're going to have to add these to different issues and whatnot, so I'm just going to do them, and we'll add them where we can. right, there they are. They're all masked. Let's go ahead and go paint them and see how that comes out. I may go ahead and mask this and paint this at some point real soon. We'll see. All right, we're back. We've painted these up. Let's go ahead and get these unmasked and see how it all came out. Looking pretty good. Now, one of the things I was thinking is this part here is gonna be on the outside of the ship, and this will be the edge where the edge of the ship will be. So this is gonna get painted later. So I may end up trying to not paint that part on future pieces because otherwise I might have a hard time covering up the black. So I just thought I might save myself some future effort if I just don't paint that part. See how this came out. Looks pretty good. Got a fair amount rollover, but that's okay. That's quite alright, I think. Yeah. So that looks pretty good. Hopefully I can be done with some of these irregular pieces. They're a pain to mask. They take forever. Not that you guys would know because I'm speeding these up, but yeah. Yeah, I get a little bit through there in the corner. But probably not enough to be a problem. Again, this is probably going to be another section that's going to be painted a different color. It'll be painted the same color as the exterior. So that's something to keep in mind for future that I should really pay attention to. I do like unmasking and seeing how it all comes out. So call me strange, but there's nothing quite like, masking something. Now, granted, this masking job is pretty sad. Like, I got some black there. If I have to, I can get that covered up. But the masking job is pretty sad, really. I'm not doing anything overly special with it and, all that kind of stuff. But some of the stuff that I have masked, and like the science station and the cargo hold, I felt like that came out great. So, yeah. All right. I think that will work. So, I will share a video with you guys, or a channel, and the channel's called Movie Models, I believe is what it is. And he uses silver instead of black. I've seen black used by some other people, and so that's why I went with black. But he uses silver, and he said that helps reflect it in, not just absorb the color. But I thought that would have been an interesting option as well. So, all right, well, that's the end of that little segment. Look for some more coming up. Okay, welcome back. So here we are. We've painted our plating here, and so this will be the last one that I've got ready to go. So let's go ahead and unmask this bad boy. Make sure everything came out the way we wanted it to, and all that kind of fun stuff. So far, I can tell you this side looks pretty good. Let's get that peeled off there. Get this peeled off. There we go. Alright, let's try going from this side. Alright, so our line's not perfect, but it's going to be good enough for government work. Especially since that's going to get painted anyway, and we'll have to prime it and la-di-di-da-di-di-da. So we look at our edges. They all look pretty good. No complaints whatsoever. I think that will fit in really well with the rest of them. I'm sure there's going to be some more bottom pieces. We'll find out because I'm guessing we'll probably be putting them on at some point. So that takes care of that. And so, again, this was the end of issue 40. So that's what we did here. Next time, we'll be getting the other parts, the cone part of the gun turret, some more hull pieces. So I'm guessing those are more of the bottom hull pieces, some stickers, and a light and some screws and whatever else. So that'll be all for the gun turret. So we'll see how all that goes together. So that should be interesting. That'll be in issue 41. Before I take off, I'm going to say I want to remind everyone that I will be doing a review of issues 21 through 40. Uh, should be tomorrow, unless something pops up and I have to change. But look for it at around 2 p.m. Central Time. That's 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, and 1 Mountain Time. I believe that will be around 7 p.m. In the UK, and somewhere between 4 and 6 a.m. in Australia, at least eastern coast of Australia. So there you go. Hopefully you guys can join me for that, and I'm glad to have you all along. So I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. May the force be with you always.